Why would people risk their lives for that? This is the question the vast majority asks when watching brave climbers, crazy drivers, and other adventurers. The tightrope walkers who step without safety harnesses, the surfers who obsessively search for the biggest wave, and the bikers who speed down the road faster than guardian angels have no margin for mistake. The nearness of death creeps into every nook and cranny of the soul, causing an incredible adrenaline rush. But when you get over the fear and reach the goal, the adrenaline is changed by the endorphin. Those who have once felt this sensation get addicted to extreme sports forever. The boxers are feeling similar emotions. Stepping into the ring, any athlete knows that his health and life are in danger. You know many fighters whose bravery is admirable, but today, you'll hear the story of a real savage. The story of a fighter whose life is like the flight of a comet, so bright, so sudden, and so fleeting. This is the fearless, unstoppable, and utterly uncompromising Diego Chico Corrales.
Down for the third time in the fight. Diego Chico Corrales.
To understand a fighter's mentality, we should go back to his formative years. At the time when character is forged, values are estimated and ambitions are strengthened. In Diego's case, his childhood and teenage years took place on the battlefield. That place was the gang-ridden streets of the Oak Park neighborhood in Sacramento. Corrales led one of the street gangs and faced violence, brutality, and even murder at such a young age. His best friend was shot in front of him. Fate was protecting Diego. She had other plans for his life, but the image of death was forever etched in the soul of the boy whom everyone called Chico. He got that nickname from his biological father. His stepfather played a crucial role in the troubled teenager's life. Ray Woods was a boxing coach and did everything he could to protect his stepson from the mean streets. Surely, no one imagined that this troublemaker would be one of the most spectacular boxers in the world. It was the trait of the thrill seeker that led Diego to such a reputation, a trait that not many have. Corrales couldn't show his talents in the amateur ring. The short distance was like a barrier, and the flames of his aggression didn't get time to ignite. The professional ring is what he was born to do. The tall, lean boxer threw short punches at sharp angles. You'd hardly see any fighter who didn't use his size. But Chico had a different philosophy. Vladimir Gendlin once said, "Look at him, there is practically no muscle. You can never tell that he is a boxer, that he is an athlete. What he hits with is unclear, but it hits like a cannon."
In the inside, what Contreras wants to be, but he gets half with the left, and down he goes.
That was the phenomenon of Diego Corrales. He was punching with minimal amplitude, but his power had a devastating effect. For far-sighted businessmen of the boxing industry, it was obvious. He is a future star, and Chico didn't fail their expectations. Diego scored 28 wins, 23 by knockout, to deserve his first title shot.
17 knockouts, and now Contreras is ready to go. Corrales left there with the left, with the right, and finally he's had a little difficulty with it. Now you see it. And he goes down again.
Corrales became a contender in 1999. He faced the already established champion Robert Garcia. That day, Diego proved for the first time that his main driving force is a risk. The men fought bone to bone. The blood flowed. Everyone had successful episodes. Despite his lack of size, the champion tried to snatch every single moment. And in the 5th round, Robert got the advantage. Diego missed a few punches, causing his eye to close. There was a sense of nervousness in Chico's corner. It seemed like the game was getting out of control. It seemed, but for Corrales, it was only the beginning. It's like he was taking energy in extreme conditions. After the best round, Garcia believed he could beat this giant, but that was a false feeling.
Why did I see that? KO power, impersonation. These are guys used to knocking up here. Got his mouth. It's one good shot to put this one. These are knockout artists. They know how to knock out.
Chico was on a roll. He was unstoppable. In the 7th round, he put a stop to Robert Garcia's championship.
I tried, yeah, but not everything landed. Corrales was a bad motherfucker, tough motherfucker, strong, power. That power was insane. Yep. I still get flashbacks when I wake up. I wake up at night with flashbacks. Oh shit, so all sweaty, thinking, Corrales hit me. I still get flashbacks.
The 22-year-old Corrales got not only a title, but also new opportunities. Now he could fight serious opponents. But even at this level, he still had no difficulties. In the next fight, Diego easily dismantled John Brown.
31 jabs in the last round. And a good 1-2 combination startles John Brown.
It was the only time that Corrales was boxing classically. He did everything a tall boxer needs to do. He was using the jab. He was tricking opponent and acting as a number 2. The shorter John Brown didn't have a chance. But there was one major point. Chico didn't like that style. The fighting style is a reflection of a man's temper. Diego, who always wore camouflage uniforms, was a symbol of the modern gladiator. He was ready for war. The classical, tactical boxing did not take root in the image of a daredevil who was ready at any moment to put everything on the line. Diego forgot about pragmatic boxing just once and for all. Returning to his usual style, Corrales established himself as one of the best champions of the super featherweight division. Diego mentally broke and finished Derek Gainer. A victim's fate also befell Justin Juco. Angel Manfredi died a brave death too. The rules that Diego played by were simple, but at the same time uncompromising. He was putting everyone before a difficult choice: to fight and lose with honor or leave in disgrace.
Lightweight champion of the world, Diego Chico Corrales.
You cannot win all the time, especially if you use an all-or-nothing tactic. Someday your strategy will be destroyed by a cold-blooded, rational fighter. January 20th, 2001, Diego faced such an opponent. It was Floyd Mayweather, and you know how that fight ended.
To jail all night, and the 20 seconds left in the round.
7 knockdowns in 10 rounds. For Chico, it was the worst night he could ever imagine. But the main trigger point for Diego was not the defeat itself, but the fact that he was robbed of his last chance. It may have been ghostly, completely invisible, but it was a chance. Corrales, with his inner laws, considered such a defeat unworthy. The fighter was so angry with Ray Woods that he never wanted him on his team again. A difficult temper caused another family breakdown. Diego was given a prison sentence for beating his wife. During the 14 months he spent behind the prison bars, Corrales had to rethink a lot of his life. After returning, he got a new family with whom he had a very cordial relationship. But mentally, he was still the same Chico Corrales, a desperate risk-taker, a fearless adventurer. The continuation of his career was an equation which held only unknowns. He wasn't a champion anymore. He wasn't undefeated anymore. The trump cards were gone. The long break and poor physical shape added to the doubts. But all these minuses were overlapped by an important plus: determination. Diego set a goal. He wanted to become champion by all means again. In October 2003, he was moving toward it. That day in the Las Vegas arena, he met one of the most principled rivals of his career, Joel Casamayor. The Cuban was a true antagonist for Corrales. The clash of styles was the nexus that made this fight go down in history. Tall versus short, orthodox versus southpaw, warrior versus technician, and risk versus calculation. Considering all but the first value, Diego was expected to lose. The Cuban's ugly and sometimes even dirty style was a real problem, but thanks to his non-compromising style, Corrales made the fight entertaining. Two knockdowns that Chico had gotten pushed him to the edge of the abyss. But the wounded beast is always more dangerous. However, the most dramatic events were just beginning. In the fifth round, Chico was injured. He had 2 cuts in the mouth and a suspected broken jaw. But near the end of the sixth round, Corrales got his opponent with a left hook. Just a few years ago, Diego felt the closeness of victory when he was almost losing. In Casamayor's corner, everyone was nervous. It was looking like the 7th round would be truly epic, but not this time. The doctor decided to stop the fight. Diego missed the chance for the victory that he literally felt.
From the mouth.
It's bad. Give me 1 round. Come on, be a gentleman. It's bad. Sorry. Give me 1 round. It's too bad. Give me 1 round.
Got 2 really bad cuts.
Give me 1 round. 1 round. 1 round.
You heard it yourself. Diego literally begged and pleaded for his last chance. A lot of fans then hated red-headed Lady Doctor. She was the target of dozens of curses. No matter that, she cared about the fighter's health, because on that day, she was the person who stomped out Chico's hopes for making an epic comeback. But luckily for Diego, his stardom was ahead of him.
I'm just an animal, man. I refuse to. I'm telling you, the bottom truth. I don't think there are many people that are scrappy, as gutty, and willing to go through the kind of stuff I'm willing to go through. Pain is I'm in the pain business, so I was willing to go through all that. This was my show, my time. I was ready to fight this fight. I really felt that if he let me continue, I would have stopped him. I really do feel that way, and I just.
So you'd like to fight him again?
Absolutely. I mean, how could you stop this fight? Why not let this fight go on? Hey, if I'm gutting it out, he's gutting it out. We're both gutting it out. Who gives a, you know? Who cares?
The unsolved case between Casamayor and Corrales turned into a dilogy. 5 months later, the boxers were back in the ring, but the teams had changed. The former trainer of Joel, Joe Goosen, was in Diego's corner now. Thanks to him, Chico had a more composed bout. This time, he was fighting Casamayor in tactics. Corrales was knocked down in the 10th round and nearly paid back in the next round. In my opinion, Casamayor got the fight. He was able to better implement his strategy, but the judges gave the victory to Corrales, and the score in their confrontation was equalized. That meant that a trilogy was inevitable. To be honest, the controversial decision did not affect the authority of Chico in any way. After all, the public loved him, and in his next performance, he was reminding us why. A new category and a new challenge. Corrales moved up to lightweight. There, one of the top-class punchers of the era was waiting for him. Brazilian Acilino Freitas is the most successful professional boxer in the history of his country. At that time, he had no defeats. Acilino was stacking opponents so brutally that almost no one doubted his victory. What was Chico able to propose?
Somebody's going to get hit with a big shot soon. Chico Corrales into the one place, right hand to the chest area by Freitas. That was an excellent. Oh, that was Corrales who got burned.
He proposed something that Freitas' previous opponents lacked. Its toughness. Anyway, no one could take a hit from the Brazilian. But Corrales didn't bat an eyelid. Nothing breaks a fighter like knowing that your punches have no impact. All that's left is escape.
And then a countering right hand up top by Corrales.
You know, Corrales believes that one punch can change this fight for him, and he better believe it now because he's going to need that.
It has worked for Freitas, but there's a count.
Caught against the ropes is Freitas.
Freitas in trouble, down he goes.
Corrales was the boogeyman. He was tagging along, becoming the night monster from which Acilino was running but could not hide.
Entertaining affair here. Right hand down goes Freitas again. Oh, a countering left hand to the nose by Freitas.
And Corrales with a good combination as well.
Oh, Freitas is down for the third time.
4,005, 6,007, 1,008.
And he's got a minute 35. He doesn't want to fight anymore. He's done. It's over and Corrales wins it.
Diego had conquered another peak. He has won another title. But nothing can compare to the feelings of beating such a dangerous opponent. It was the best performance of Chico Corrales' career. It was his prime. I've mentioned several times that Diego was an extreme person. He couldn't live without risk. Do you think that was only in the ring? Of course not. He skied like crazy, loved speed. But most of all, he loved motorcycle riding. It was his passion. Night city racing was Chico's favorite pastime. Nothing could be more wonderful, he said. Corrales' problem was that, just like in the ring, he had absolutely no self-preservation instinct and could drive a motorcycle while he was drunk. With the prayers of his family or some other force, it didn't lead to anything bad. Like I said, fate was saving Chico for something special. May 7th, 2005. That moment finally came. Corrales faced another champion, Jose Luis Castillo. At stake were 2 titles in the lightweight division. Everything that was happening in the boxer's life was a preview of the greatest fight. Diego had found the perfect rival, who was a reflection of his boxing philosophy: never back down and never give up.
3 different fights all told. One of the sparring partners, Jose Santos. Yeah, that is Castillo's
It's creating a lot of excitement for all of us.
And on the inside, Corrales is starting to look. Back comes Castillo. Combination upstairs by Corrales.
That left to hurt Castillo. And that's Castillo's fight.
Corrales had lost the opening rounds in almost every fight, but this time he worked hard from the start, which gave him an advantage. That was the tactic of Joe Goosen. A little later, Castillo leveled the fight, which looked more and more like a gladiator battle. In round 10, The super intense match reached a peak of drama. The famous Mandalay Bay Arena has seen many legendary fights, but this one was really special.
Late title fight.
Any expert would confirm, a fighter who pulls out a mouthpiece is ready to surrender, except Corrales.
He's pushed him back. That was astonishing, and he hurts him with a hook.
Corrales comes back asleep. Castillo against the ropes. Unbelievable. Castillo steps back. Corrales waiting. Castillo's in trouble. Weak steps in, and the fight is over. Corrales, a remarkable dramatic turnaround to win this fight.
Two knockdowns, dropped points, lost chances to win, and an incredible comeback. What must be the character of a man to go through hell and return as a winner?
I didn't like that, bro. What you did? It's a fucking savage. Just lean on it.
After a stunning victory, the career of Diego Corrales suddenly went downhill. In none of his next performances, Chico was never the same. He lost in a rematch to Jose Luis Castillo. He lost in a trilogy with Joel Casamayor and got defeated by Joshua Clottey. It looked like everything was going the classic script of Diego, in which he had already planned another fantastic comeback. May 7, 2007. The boxing community was shocked by the tragic news of the boxer's death. It was a fatal motorcycle crash. This happened on the anniversary of his fantastic win over Castillo. He was only 29 years old. It doesn't matter how many wins and losses a fighter has. Titles and prizes are not important. Legends are extraordinary personalities whose memory lives on and is passed on from one generation to the next. On Diego's grave are the same words he said during his first fight against Casamayor: "Give me one more round." Those words capture the essence of this man. Corrales fought desperately and sometimes recklessly. He was adored for his ability to put everything on the line, for his fearlessness, and for his skill at coming back beautifully. Boxing gave him a chance, and Chico used it 100%. Outside the ring, the fighter lived by the same principle. But sadly, life doesn't forgive mistakes. I have no doubt in my mind that if Diego had the chance to live his life over again, he would go exactly the same way, without fear and regrets.